sponsor, and then we'll get right into introducing and talking to you.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Hi, Facebook. It's me, the effervescent, always happy, annoyingly so, Linda Marcus Smith here at Comic Spot. Today, we have the pleasure of talking to Coda Hawke, seen in the other square. Yes.
Thank you.
So I'm very delighted to have him here today so you can get to know him, love him, and support his rise in comedy. If I had money, I would bank on him becoming a huge star, even bigger than he is already. And you will think so too. So let's get into it. But first, a word from our sponsor. Now, my computer doesn't let me put up their logo, unfortunately, but get a load of this. I have one paid sponsor paying for all of this, and my sponsor is ahabroadway.org, AHHA Broadway.org in New York City, and they provide very low-cost training in the following 3 categories: stand-up, improv, and acting for 3 groups of people: children, veterans, and seniors. So for instance, a military or a veteran can take comedy classes, for instance, like I did, for $10 a session from the East Coast headliner, Chris Murphy. Are you kidding me? I got Vanessa Hollingshead. She's been on Showtime. She smashes on stage. I got her training me for $10 a session. Don't even. You got to get to ahabroadway.org if you want to beef up your acting, your improv, or your comedy. So do that. Thank you so much, Aha Broadway. Back to this show. Today, I get the extreme pleasure of bringing you a star. Yeah, you know star quality on stage when you see it. Now you're going to get to hear him and see him. He's right here. I've told people all about him all across the country. So let me read the intro Coda Hawke gave to me. The newest Vegas sensation, Coda Hawke, AKA the Vegas Comedy King, has been doing comedy since the age of 12. Did you hear me in there? The age of 12. Since his comedy debut, he has played the Stratosphere, the Strat, Cannery, the Link, and Luxor casinos here in the Las Vegas area. He also worked with SNL's Kenan Thompson. I saw that show. He won the contest. He beat out, I don't know, like 12 other people. He was so fabulous in that show. Oh my gosh. And he won it.
Thank you.
He's also worked with Wild and Out Cortez Macklin. That's the show with Nick Cannon, I believe. Not only that, he is now embarking on his very own comedy tour across the United States and in the works of starring in his very own first motion picture film as well. So let's welcome to the stage, right here on Tiny Comic Spot, the huge sensation, which is being termed as the Vegas Comedy King, Coda Hawke. I was going to make you a skateboarder.
No worries. Thank you for having me, Linda.
You knew what I was doing, didn't you?
Yeah, it's like.
Oh my gosh. I mess up every introduction and now I just laugh about it. I mean,
no worries. No worries.
People think I'm going to get through an intro without a mistake. What's wrong with them? And it's not going to happen. I mess it up. I thought about just doing Jiminy Glick because I mess things up. My gosh.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming, Coda. Now, I just want to let people know, I met you when the very first time I saw you perform wasn't that long ago at 18 Bin. And you went up on stage and smashed it. Your
Thank you.
family was there, and I got to meet them. Now, I know you have a certain persona on stage, and I know that you also have to come from a good family because I've met them. They're high quality people.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
see,
Most
yes,
definitely.
ma'am. No, I usually assume when somebody says yes, ma'am, and this is me being old, that they're saying yes, ma'am, because they're either from the South or have military in their family. So which or both is it?
You know what? I'm not from the South at all. I do have military in my family, but it goes like long back, like Vietnam War days. Like my grandpa was in the military, but he never enforced it. He never enforced the yes ma'am, no ma'am, or anything like that. It's just it was just a habit that I picked up from my mother. And she just always taught me no sir, yes sir, no ma'am, yes ma'am. So I was just brought up the right way, I guess.
Good job, Mom.
Yes,
You know,
ma'am.
I was in the military during Vietnam long
Wow.
ago.
Oh wow.
They put my happy little ass in Germany, and my parents survived the Holocaust that was way back when, or it wasn't, whatever you want to think. And it's so weird because the men were in the jungles fighting for our freedom, and I was just in Germany, mostly yodeling in the Alps,
Wow.
not really doing that much work. And women didn't do much work back then.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you. Well, let's get into you, Coda Hawke. You started at age 12. Do you
Yes,
know
ma'am.
this?
Yeah.
Wow. Talk about it.
Uh,
Starting
I, I started at the age of 12. I actually, the first time I did stand up, it was actually the day before I turned 13. I basically, well, it was like the day I turned 13, I guess. Uh, Almost a little bit before it was my birthday. I did my first stand up set. And Piff the Magic Dragon from America's Got Talent, he actually gave me my first on stage uh, experience ever. And ever since that day, I really fell in love with it. I fell in love with making people laugh. And I got into it. My grandfather, who was in the military, actually got me into it because he's an avid gambler. And my my mother left me at his house one day on his gambling night. And he was like, you know what? Fuck you, Christian. You know what? Go fuck yourself. Or you just get over to my house, you son of a bitch. And I'm going to let him watch Eddie Murphy Raw and see what happens. And he let me watch Eddie Murphy Raw. And, and he was falling asleep the whole time. And I watched it. And I was like, you know what? I could do this. I could totally do this. And I tried out. I was like, I'm going to try out for America's Got Talent. Did not make it. It's all good. But I ended up trying out for America's Got Talent, and that's where I learned to network. Was actually my first America's Got Talent audition, and ever since then, ever since Fifth and Magic Dragon and America's Got Talent, I've just fell in love with stand up. Been doing it ever since, and I think this is definitely what I want to do for the rest of my life. Well, actually, I know this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So it's a beautiful art form and I love it.
Yes, I'm trying to pick up where I think your accent is from. Billy?
Yeah, my parents are my mom's side of the family is from Pittsburgh. And I mean I don't know if I got it from them. But I lived here all my life though.
Yeah, you'd pick it up from them.
Probably.
Yeah. So you were born and raised in Vegas. You went through school in Vegas.
Yeah.
How many people in your schools would be surprised or not surprised that you're making it in comedy?
You know what? Not a lot. Okay. Some people would be okay. Everybody there pretty much knows I'm a comedian, but some people would be surprised that I'm making it, so to say, I guess. Uh, you know, just a lot of people thought I wasn't gonna be nothing. I'm like, well, joke's on you. Look what's happening now. I'm like, you go ahead. I'm like, it's like, well, I'm in honors English. I'm like, I don't care. You're gonna be working at McDonald's for the rest of your life. Like, have fun. And, my girlfriend's friends hate me that hate that I'm a stand-up comedian, because a couple of them are in they work, or they're in like performing arts as well, but they do like Broadway shows kind of.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not one to brag at all, but they're like, well, I did this much, because they try to brag about how much money they have or whatever. I'm like, she's like, well, I just came up here and your girlfriend don't need you anymore. I just made $400 working at Pizza Hut. I was like, I just made that in a night. Doing 10 minutes. And I never brag about how much I make though, but a lot of people, they wouldn't really be surprised, because I crack everybody up at school, even the teachers, and I had a proclivity for it ever since I was 12, and I've just been growing ever since. And I'm a teenager, but I'm doing like the comedy of a 40-year-old man, and that's what surprises so many people. And not only kids think it's, or not even my colleagues in school just think it's, I'm gonna make it, but just people in the scene and even random people all over the country. It's just everybody's waiting for it. And I was supposed to make it in 2020. I was after I won Keenan's Thompson's Ultimate Comedy Experience. I was supposed to go to Los Angeles and get looked at by all these managers and get looked at by all these TV companies, True TV, Netflix, all that. And I was supposed to go to New York and go to Saturday Night Live and everything. But 2 days before I was supposed to go to Los Angeles, the quarantine hit. And now I'm lucky I'm young, because if I wasn't, I would have probably killed myself. But but now I fell off the mountain, but I'm climbing back up slowly but surely. Actually, not really slowly, because now I got the blessed with the opportunity to write my own motion picture, and we're submitting that into a film festival. We're not allowed to say what film festival or anything like that, but I can't say what it's about either. But I got blessed with this opportunity, and I believe it's going to be like my one and done. Like, hopefully that's what's going to make me a star.
Oh, fabulous. So do you have hope? So I'm 70 years old. I'm assuming you're like
Wow.
17.
16, almost 17.
You're 16 now. Wow. Yeah. No, I've been turning 21 over and over again. You haven't even hit it once.
I can't believe you said that's crazy. There's no way.
Yeah. I used to have dimples, but they have managed to disappear. It's like magic. Just get older. Do you have, like, in your comedy, how many skills do you put in your comedy? You do impressions?
Yes, I do.
And voice, so that means voices. Do you sing?
You know what? I do like Elvis impressions and stuff sometimes, or like Sammy Davis Jr., but I don't really sing that much. Most of my comedy is basically based off of current events, juxtapositions, and impressions. So that's how that's basically as vast as it gets. But I really go around the whole, all around the rainbow, I guess you could say, in comedy. I talk about everything pretty much, mostly current events, because they're relatable, and I try to not just current events, but just worldly everyday things, because they'll always be relatable. And the one thing I want, like, yeah, current events are very relatable, but they're not going to be relatable 20-30 years from now always. So I try to do as much worldly things as possible, and that's where a lot of my impressions are from, is mostly worldly things. And then the current events is mostly just like all the juxtapositions and the jokes I make. And I mean, I make jokes about the past sometimes, but and they're still relevant, sort of. I don't know how. I don't know how they still work. I'm talking about Bill Clinton, like now, and people still get it. So, I mean, it's amazing though. And comedy, it's just there's so many comedians out there, and there's so much stuff to talk about. And if you ever run out of material, then you're not meant to be a comic. You should never be running out of material with everything that's happening in the world. And there's always going to be something to joke about, always something to ridicule about, even though you might not be able to joke about it 10 years from now because white girls took over, and you can't say anything now. And 10 years from now might be worse, but there will always be something to joke about. And
Yeah.
that's what's so beautiful about comedy and just the world in itself.
So Coda, you mentioned that Piff the Magic Dragon got you on stage the first time. Who are some other people you want to give a shout out to who encouraged you to get on stage or gave you spots or are pointing you in the right direction?
A couple people actually.
Okay.
One of the biggest ones is my friend Benny Pitts. I know you had him on here before. Benny Pitts, he always stuck up for me. That's one thing about him. And every time he had a spot, he gave it to me. Even if he didn't have a spot, he gave it to me. And we're not just colleagues, and we're not like a lot of people are like, oh, your friend. We're like brothers. That's how we are. We're like brothers. I mean, we look nothing like each other, but he's my little big brother, and that's my guy right there. He's the best person to work with, because even though, he never crap talks anybody. He's always been respectful. He's a great family friend of ours as well, and he's always helped me in the toughest times, and he's done everything he can to make me the best I can be. And he actually helped me in a very hard time in my life. My uncle, the first time I met Benny, my uncle ended up getting murdered. He got shot and killed. And we had to do a fundraiser show to fund the funeral. And I hit up Benny Pitts, and Benny Pitts came and did the show for no pay. And he helped me in a very hard time, and ever since then we've been rocking it. He's the first comedian to ever take me to the East Coast, to the South. He's me and him are embarking on a tour right now. We go to LA next week, and I mean, he has really also inspired my material a lot. He's always said, don't give a shit what anybody says, or what anybody thinks. Talk about it, say it, and he stuck up for me when people were like, I don't want him on my show. He's like, well, I'm putting them on my show, or I'm not doing your venue. So, I mean, and that's love right there. So, I mean, definitely he's not just a comic to me. He's family. That's my family right there.
He's
And
so special. The minute I locked into his eyes, I knew how special he was. Same with you.
I think he's an angel, man. He's a little black angel. And it's beautiful. That's my little big brother right there. And he's been helping me ever since, man. And he really doesn't get much out of helping me at all either. It's, I mean, I can't do much for him in return, and he's like an angel on my shoulder, and that's my little big brother right there. That's my guy.
I just want to interrupt you one thing, and then we'll go into the other person you're giving a shout out to.
No worries.
I come from Portland, Oregon, and I went to a show at a TV station, and Piff the Magic Dragon was the comedian of the day there.
Wow.
And he killed in front of like 10 people in the audience. He cracked the lady up so bad, and I got to meet him before the show out in the lobby. And so I've met Piff, and I had no idea what he was really like, and I'm so delighted to hear that he had a part of getting you on stage the first time.
He really
Piff,
did.
you did good, man.
Yes, man. Thank you.
Okay, so who's the other person to shout out?
The other person I'd like to shout out is Mr. Davian Velez. Davian, he just moved out here from New York. he actually my comedy is so much better now due to him, because it was always like I only had like one show a month really to practice. But he actually gave me my very first residency at the Extreme Comedy Club. He gave me my very first residency for the Black Tino Comedy Jam. And at first he was only giving me like about 10 minutes, 7 minutes at the most. And then I told him, I was like, hey, this manager's coming to look at me. Can I please have 12 this night? He was like, sure, go ahead. And he saw that and he started giving me 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 30, 20, 40 here and there. So it was, he really helped me expand my material and go for a longer time. And one more person, William, unfortunately, his club closed down, but he did actually he discovered me. He gave me my very first like real like comedy show spot. Because nobody else was putting me on their shows. And one thing I'm very thankful is he gave me my very first real spot, like real booked spot. So I went in there, I kind of tricked him, he didn't know my age. I was like 12, 13 at the time. And I tricked him. I didn't tell him my age. And I went and once he figured out I was 13, he's like, I'm gonna put you on when everybody's coming in. And even though that happened, I killed it. And he put me on a couple of his shows after that. And one thing I'm forever thankful that he did is he introduced me to my little big brother Benny. So I mean,
who is William?
William was the owner of Extreme Comedy Club. He goes by Billy Bob. I never called him Billy Bob. But I don't know where he has like 7 different names. I don't know why, but he introduced me to my family for life, my brother for life, Benny, and he gave me my first spot. So he kind of like discovered me. So Davian, Benny, William, thank you to those guys for real. And 2 other ones, Mr. D-Bev in LA and Freddie Walker up in Spokane. They were like some of the first people to ever like really believe in me. So thank you to those guys. And Manny from Backstop, Manny Hine. He was booking me when nobody else was booking me because there was no other venues. And Backstop, B-Rad, and Manny, they booked me every Monday or every other Monday for like the entire summer. And they started letting me feature and headline up there now. And it's just those guys, man. The comedy wise, the reasons why my material is so good now and the reason why I could do so much time, who really contributed to my comedy is Benny Pitts, Davian Velez, and Manny Hine, those guys. And B-Rad from Backstop. I mean, those guys, those are family right there.
Wow, what a story. What a story. What do you want to accomplish in the number of years you still have on the planet? What do you want to do where are you going with your comedy? Like, you got a movie coming out now.
Yeah, I got the movie coming out, and I definitely want to keep making movies after this because you know what? I really think I have a proclivity for this as well. And I mean, I really think I can make some great movies. I definitely want to keep writing more movies and make movies. I want to be like a movie star, but also a comedic star. I love movies, but I like movies, but I love stand-up. This is my first love right here. No woman could ever take stand-up away from me. I swear. Stand-up is my first love. It's my baby. I mean, stand-up's amazing. I definitely want to I see myself going forever, like Don Rickles, kind of. I want to be like George Carlin, do like 17 specials, like throughout my lifetime, like he did. And I want to be the first comedian to like sell out stadiums.
Wow.
I want to be the first comedian to sell out stadiums, and I want to be the best comic to ever live.
That's so cool.
Me. And I want to put Vegas on the map. I really want to put Vegas on the map because there's no real like star that actually came out of Vegas, born and raised in Vegas. So I want to be that guy. I'm the Vegas comedy king, Mr. Vegas right here. you know?
Oh, that's so cool. What kind of acting do you want to do other than your own movies that you come up with? If an agent got a hold of you, they would be wanting to, what would you accept? What kind of role at this point?
You know what? I like comedic roles, roles of like a student or something like that, but I also like action roles. Like I'd love to do like a cop movie or like a mafia movie. I would love to do that. You know, I definitely got to look for that. And I've always wanted to play Elvis in like an Elvis movie. I've always wanted to do an Elvis movie.
Oh,
So that's like a dream role right there is Elvis.
oh my gosh, that would be so, like you could be young Elvis when he first got into when he first
Yeah.
got into singing.
Yeah. Most
Yeah.
definitely.
You definitely have that star quality look of
Mhm.
a throwback singer, you know, like
Yeah.
Paul Anka, Elvis Presley, that era.
Mhm.
You have that
Most definitely.
sort of
Yeah.
vibe. That would be
Mhm.
cool. They need to do somebody needs to listen to this and do a documentary of your life
Yeah.
and then have a sequel because you're going places.
Most definitely. Most
Yes,
definitely.
that would
Yeah,
be so
actually,
cool.
dang, I wish I could talk about my movie. I really wish I could. You know, you're getting hot. You're getting out of it. I wish I could talk about it, but I got the NDA and we got to keep it a surprise. But it should be coming out around 2023. Just saying.
Okay.
Hopefully, you know. But I, damn, I wish I could talk about
That's
it.
so cool.
Yeah.
In honest, I think I know the answer to my own question, but I'm
Mhm.
going to let you answer it. On a
Okay.
scale of 1 to 10, where do your parents fall in on supporting your
You know what? My past.
path, the way
Oh,
that you,
path. Okay.
yeah.
You know what? An 11.
That's what
They
I
uh they very much support it. Uh, you know, my mother, she at first she wasn't as supportive. She
thought.
she wanted me to play tennis. And she finally saw me like live one day and she was like, "Holy shit." And she actually wanted to be a singer and she was actually she was going to sing the same song that Kelly Clarkson sung when she won American Idol. And my mom was going to go on American Idol, but my grandpa wouldn't let her go because he thought it was a scam. He's like, I ain't letting you do that shit. And so my mom said, I'll never hold you back from your dream, especially since you're good at it. And she's supported me 150%. I mean, and so has my dad, my uncle, my grandparents. They're so supportive, and it's just I couldn't ask for a more supportive family. I really couldn't.
That's
So
so,
they're
you're so
really yeah.
blessed. Do you have brothers and sisters?
I do not. I'm an only child.
Well, you're sure not spoiled. I'll tell you that. You're a wonderful person.
Thank you.
You
I
must
wish I
have
was spoiled
imaginary
now.
brothers and sisters.
I've always wanted a brother or sister, and then I realized I'm glad I didn't have one. But I mean, I'm half deaf and I have really sensitive ears, and like babies crying, it hurts me so bad. I'm like, I'm so glad I never had a baby brother or sister. But I'm not really spoiled. I mean, my grandpa spoiled me a little bit. I mean, it's cool though. I've always been the favorite, but by default, and it's fun though.
I had one child and I always told her she was my favorite. So
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it got lonely from here and there, but you know, everything gets better, and you know what, it was cool because I don't think I could have gotten the great parenting I got as a child in this big family as I did as a only child.
Yes.
Most
Well,
definitely.
I was sorry to hear you say that you had lost an uncle that was dear to you. And I'm
Yeah.
so thankful that they did a fundraiser and all the
Hmm.
money went to help with the final burial,
Hmm.
prices for that, because that's spendy. And I'm sure he's looking down at you and very proud of what you're doing.
I
'Cause
believe so too.
I barely know you and I'm proud of you. It's like
Thank you so much.
I'm trying to take credit for what you're accomplishing.
Thank you.
Would you like to say anything about where people can follow you, where you're going to be performing
Yes,
around?
ma'am.
Thank you.
Sounds great. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, go right
All
ahead.
right. On Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram, Coda, Coda_Hawke, Hawke, Coda_Hawke with an E, kind of like Ethan Hawke. And Facebook, I don't use it as much, but it's Bonkovich. I stopped going by Coda Bonkovich. My full name is Coda Hawke Bonkovich, but I stopped going by Bonkovich because Benny couldn't pronounce Bonkovich. And he would be like, Coda Bon Honkovich. And then everybody would think like some old Jewish guy was coming on stage. So we couldn't do it anymore. I was like, you know, let's just use my middle name. It sounds more movie star. But yeah, Coda Bonkovich on Facebook. I don't use it much. Coda Bonkovich on YouTube, and it's Coda Hawke now. But I'm gonna change it up. I'm gonna change it up maybe. And yeah, I mean I'm performing at the let me see. I'm performing D-Bev's Comedy Splash in Los Angeles, September the 12th at the Chester Washington Golf Course. And we do have a show like in Huntington Beach on the 11th. Don't know where it's at yet. Benny booked it. And, me and Benny are going to Uptown Comedy Corner in Atlanta next month, and we're working out. We're also going to Miami soon. That's coming up soon, and also, I am. Where am I performing at? September the 30th, I believe. I'm at the Baobab stage in Town Square here in Las Vegas. So if any of you guys could come out to those, that'd be amazing.
September 30th in Vegas at the what?
The Baobab stage, I believe it's called, in Town Square.
What? That's
Yeah.
cool.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And so you told me your social media, you told us where you're going to be performing. Now for the hardest of the last of the questions I've got.
All right.
People come on here who are bookers, agents, and club owners.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you like to go to perform?
One of my biggest dreams is to perform at the Comedy Store. I've always wanted to perform at the Comedy Store. That's a big one for me. And I've also always wanted to perform in Pittsburgh because my family's from Pittsburgh. And so if there's anybody from the Comedy Store or the Pittsburgh Improv, I'd love to go there. And the biggest dream, though, is I definitely want to perform at some bigger places like Madison Square Garden, Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, and the Tokyo Dome in Japan.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
There you go.
I don't know that I'll live long enough to get myself on Madison Square Garden stage, but every time I'm writing jokes, I'm writing them to be good enough to be on Madison Square Garden stage.
That's how you got to do it. That's how you got to do it.
That's when I would say, okay, I arrived. Everything else is, great, but to me, being on the stage at Madison Square Garden would be like, oh my gosh, I have arrived.
Yeah, that's how you know you made it. Once you pack out Madison Square Garden, that's how you know you made it.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, and I've always wanted to perform at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace. That's my biggest dream right there. I don't know how I forgot that. that's my biggest dream right there is to perform at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How many people go to that?
Go to where?
How many people pack it out? How big is that area? That room?
The Coliseum, I think, is like 5,000 seats, I believe.
Wow.
But cool it's just it's not so much the seating for me, like the capacity of it. It's just I've always been amazed by the Caesar's Palace ever since I was a kid. And I still am a kid. But, but just being born and raised in Las Vegas, there's no other place like the Caesar's Palace. And it's just, I think it's the glitziest, glamorous, coolest casino here in Las Vegas. And I want to, if I ever had a special, which I believe I will, my goal is to film my first special at the Caesar's Palace Coliseum here in Las Vegas.
I think you're ready for a special right now, and you
I
are
believe
that
so too.
special.
I'm ready. You know
Yeah.
what? I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yes.
I'm right here. Thank you.
Oh man, you're gonna break world records with what you're gonna accomplish. I just know
I
it.
hope so. I hope
Yeah,
so. Thank you.
awesome. Such a delight, such an honor for me, to be able to talk with you and help spread the word for you. Thank you for coming on. I've
Thank you.
enjoyed the heck out of this interview, Coda. So you
Thank you very
guys,
much for having me.
oh yes, oh my gosh. This is Coda Hawke. Yes,
Yes,
sirree.
ma'am. Coda
Hit him
Hawke.
up, book him, get him
Thank
out
you.
to
Yes, ma'am. Book
Pittsburgh,
me.
get him
Awesome.
everywhere. Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so
Coda.
much. All right.
Bye.
Bye.